Virgo. Are y'all in the mood today? Because yesterday y'all was not in the mood. But what was I getting? I just heard Inspector Gadget. Or lately, the way it's been going is people are Inspector Ratchet. So they have to spy on their partners. So you could be hearing about this or suspect that not just you being watched or anything like that, but also that other people may be getting caught watching you. There are more eyes on you than you even know, as far as friends of friends, people that you don't even actually know, a friend of a friend of a friend. So this stuff is coming from all different places. You could be getting random calls as well. Like, oh, did you just call this number? No, didn't just call this number. So it's kind of like trying to feel out the energy, pick up on a voice, see a response, or just anything. Whoa. Okay. Only because they're relevant, I'm going to keep it. I tried to limit it to 3 cards, but this Animal Monday is on the bottom of the deck, and I believe Leo got that energy. You two are so close knit, not in like, oh, you're close with Leo people, but the influence does filter over into Virgo. Okay, listen, we have the underworld, the forest, the medallion, apocalypse, and the siren. Okay, now I'm gonna pull crystals for the first 3, rough, tumbled, and refined, but these 2 energies here, I want to read from the book so you can get clarity. You and I can get clarity on this. Apocalypse, removing the veil of deception. Listen, I was thinking the movie Apocalypso. There was this has big eclipse energy to me, right? Because okay, we have the underworld, we have the forest, the medallion, and I feel like in the dark there's something about the dark that there's treasure to be found, or something to treasure about it itself. And if anybody knows that, it's Virgo. To a lesser degree, well, I won't say lesser degree, I'll say in another way, Pisces too, because I did see their card come up in the pre-shuffle, though Virgo was in mind. So what's happening, these 2 signs are converging as far as like giving each other energy, as Virgo is coming out of the lower aspect of the nature and rising to the higher octave of what Virgo is and can do. It is also tapping into lower vibrational energy of Pisces and ascending into that as well. So this is why your intuition may be heightened at this time, or your experiences can take you to darker places because of what Pisces represents with the psyche itself, imprisonments, illnesses, sickness, and we are 6th house rule the body and things like that. On the opposite end, it's the people who, if you're working in healthcare, would be the people that you're taking care of. That would be Pisces. So you're being transitioned from one way of seeing the world and feeling the world to another, right? We have this underworld card. There has been a deep dive and a transformation. So on the ascent up, we're going through the forest, that whole hermit energy, but there is a medallion. There is a caveat. There is a light almost at the end of the tunnel. With this energy, there is a reward. there was much risk, but it was perceived risk. It wasn't actually like a threat. And it had to do more so with your fear of the unknown and actually going into those dark places. And you're so introspective, but some people aren't actively introspective. They lollygag in their daydreams. They lollygag in the time they should be doing shadow work. They're just spinning around in the dark or just sitting still. When really, with this forest energy, it has like a foraging type of energy to it, where you're actually looking into things and looking behind things, going in all those rooms within the mind and looking in those file cabinets, pulling out old memories. Does this shit still make sense? Is it still serving me? It's really getting into those things and lightening the load, even with the psyche, with the mental capacity. You've gotten a lot of cobwebs and a lot of shit clear from outside the outside and inside of the mind. They really are quite similar. Where'd it go? But with that eclipse energy that I was feeling, because in the movie Apocalypso, and I think I'm saying it right. It's one of my favorite movies, so I should be. But it was indigenous people in South America, and with the Olmecs and stuff like that. Not Olmecs. There were these rituals that they used to have, and they thought by taking a man up to the top of the mountain and chopping his damn head off, that it would be like a sacrifice, like an offering, for whatever reason. But in that movie, it was at the moment an eclipse was occurring. Apocalypso was at the top of that pyramid. They were about to cut his head off. But this was him able to get away, because the peoples, to see that eclipse, it really jarred them, like, okay, well, this person is protected, or this person is very much like, even though they did, still try to kill him, it was like at that moment when he was threatened, or he was just about to, be sacrificed just the same as everyone else, there was a saving grace, and it had to do with darkness more so than it had to do with the light itself. So you'll understand with this underworld energy, the places you've been and the things that you have learned, you do have a sense of protection, and it's not just everything that is visibly seen. It's natural, unforeseen forces that other people cannot intervene with, except not except they are actually at the mercy of. So with this apocalypse, that kind of gave me that vibe. And with this saying, removing the veil of deception, apocalypse indicates a particularly painful time, one that unfolds when two disparate dynamics occur simultaneously, pulling the psyche in seemingly opposing directions. The first is a lifting of the veil. This means truths that have been kept in the dark are revealed, seen, and unearthed. No matter how relieving it is to witness them come into the light, an element of despair and grief follows. The second dynamic is the regeneration that comes from the wreckage of the revealed truth. The old narrative breaks and a new story forms. Apocalypse energy is similar to a forest fire's devastation for the sake of regeneration. The veil lifts and we see who and what has been hiding. The nakedness of the truth, a child is born. From the nakedness of truth, a child is born, and that could be quite literal. Have faith in the process. Hold on to your center. That is the only way. The unknown becomes known and guides the way. I love this energy because it's revelation. And people, and I spoke on this, I think, in the Scorpio reading, so check it out if you have the time or you're inclined, and let me know what you let me know what you think, because I was talking about in that cycle of living and dying, just even your truth is killed, or what you perceive to be truth is killed the moment the real truth is revealed, stuff like that. Now you have a new knowing, right? And it can be jarring. It can be seemingly devastating, but the relief that comes from truth is what I don't think people value as much. So many people are afraid of actually speaking the truth or living the truth or hearing the truth, that they will stay in a positive, or and I won't say positive as in like uplifting. I'll say like that hyper positivity, that it just has to be bright, it just has to be light. And it's like, okay, well, in that there is even a sense of falseness, and everybody's got these plastered on smiles, but there's some truths that come in this dark time and this darkness, that is more refreshing to you than something that was just like put in one's face. We have the underworld energy here, and this is why Scorpio is coming up very relevant. I really need you to check it out. The forest is looking like the sun is setting. So even still, with that sun setting, knowing one is going into that dark night or going into those dark places, you do so with a certain safety, because you know you better than anybody else, and that's how it should be. All right, can't nobody. If you know yourself, no one can tell you about yourself. So this whole thing, the reason why spirituality is being so enhanced at this moment is because gnosis, like to know oneself, to really know thyself. You're really understanding the nature of yourself, and in that regard you can understand the nature of others, and you have felt and sensed something for a very long time that you will soon get the proof of, because you've been in the dark about certain things, and it's in the dark that you can it's in the dark that you can see the spark. But if you're always in the light and you're always on where things are visible, there's certain things that you will miss that are hidden. So if you're where things hide, or you're behind that veil and it gets removed, you won't be shocked or jarred by what is on the other side of it, because you've already been in the underworld. You've already been in that darker energy. Very much getting familiar with the things that dwell there, and not in the way that people, by day they're a certain way and by night they're something else. There is a sense of becoming all of which you are. The darker things about yourself that scare you, you're starting to look at them and like, they're not that scary. It's just that people perceive them a certain way. But the honesty behind the veil of why it's necessary is now coming into focus. You do have the medallion here. So there is something to gain. There is something, and this is like talisman, heirlooms. This is things that have trickled down from generations, gifts, and even prophecies that have been put on your life, or associated with the person, the spirit, the soul that you are. So you're really coming into understanding of that. You find gems, you find certain things. They're not meant for everybody. Not everybody can see what you see. And this is why the Virgo energy is quite misunderstood, because people feel like it's bossy, they feel like it's controlling, they just want it their way and they want it perfect. But really, they're seeing the blueprint that other people visibly cannot see. They have a different sort of sense. So when the siren energy came up, it's really giving me, you can sense the siren energy in others. And when other people are being surrounded by a siren energy, because it is something that's actually a part of you too, on a darker aspect of the energy that is not as easily expressed. When it's a lower vibrational Virgo energy, you will get a seductress, you will get a temptress type of energy, because they're both virgin and vixen. So this is the misunderstanding and the miscommunication, where people think that Virgo is just prude. They are reserved because they know the darker and the lower, I won't say darker, I'll say the unevolved aspect of this Virgo energy can be very manipulative. It can be very troublesome. It can be very like dangerous. So in order to keep themselves safe, and for the health of a situation and the health of others, mentally, psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, they refrain from the capability that the unevolved aspects of Virgo can actually do. So this is where a person meets themselves where they are and also where they have been and what they are capable of on a underdeveloped or undeveloped ways. Like, because this is a capability. It isn't something that may be as exercised as other capabilities, but it does have a practical use. So in knowing this siren energy, and this is, again, it's taking me back to a different reading that I did where, and I can't remember for whom, but I was speaking on Leonardo DiCaprio in Now You See, or Now You See Me, or Can You See, what was it? Now You See Me, where he was pretty good at taking on personas and doing all this fraudulent things and getting money and different stuff like that, to even printing his own damn money. And he finally got caught by this agent that had been following him around, Tom Hanks. He went to prison, but he was so good at what he did, it was taken to be used in a more evolved form. Now he was put apart, he was heading a fraud department, catching other people who were doing these things. So even though he had a vice, it was transmuted into a virtue. So this is where the siren energy in the underworld, a Virgo energy having to actually go in those depths, in those caverns, in those crevices of who they are, even in the unevolved state, before they were consciously aware of what the fuck was happening. But it also invokes a fear response to not be that person. So when people are attributing prudishness to Virgo themselves, it's really a refining and a withholding these types of energies that can do these types of harm. So with the siren energy, having the knowledge of it by nature, vixen and virgin, there's a distinct difference between using things rightly and using things wrongly. And this is where that judgmental aspect of Virgo comes from. It's not coming from a place of just being bossy or insincere or trying to tell people what to do. It's because there's a deep, deep, soulful knowing of what it can do when used incorrectly. So the siren is the temptress, the seducer, the femme fatale. The siren calls and the world spins. What we thought we wanted pales in comparison to the sweet allure of her song. We find ourselves lost in a spell of desire and longing, perhaps even lust. Whether the thing calling to us is ultimately good or bad is somewhat irrelevant. It's the journey that matters, and the work of the siren is to take us on a deep psychic descent. Following her song, we go down, 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 to a place where lessons are learned and courage must be rallied to find our way back to dry land. Try as we might, resisting the call may not even be an option, unless, like Odysseus, we bind our hands to the mast of our ship. Frequency change. It's likely, though, that falling for her call, don't mess with my throat chakra. It's likely, though, that falling for her call is the only way we will come to live more fully on the surface. Awaken sensuality, absorption, arousal. And this is what I mean about transmuting vice to virtue. I shit you not, Virgo. You have always dealt with somebody who left you in weird ass situations to deal with someone who has this siren energy. But the kicker is, you have the siren energy and don't use it. This is why you and this person were attracted in the first place. So in them seeking to find someone using they were called by another siren from a person who doesn't use their siren call. I want everybody to understand what the fuck I'm saying. And I need you to understand this. Virgos and Scorpio and Virgo are very similar in this way. A very deep sensuality when it comes to the body. Virgo rules the body and the health of it. So when they're putting their ass on somebody or putting their hands on somebody, it is done in a healing capacity. And Scorpio itself rules that erogenous zone, that zone of the reproductive organs and those private places. Okay, so it brings a sense of purity to whom it influences truth to come cascading out. This is why a lot of people think that Scorpio is quite toxic or something like that, but it really stirs up the energy that's lying dormant. It kicks up dust. It really does start to bring up things that people have been hiding behind the veil, whether consciously or subconsciously. And typically it's more subconscious, or an ignorance or a dissonance from accepting all their parts. They think this bad, this good. I can't have this. I have to cut the cord. I have to get rid of this. I have to, meditate it out, exercise it out, pray it out. That's not how it works. If it's a part of you, it's a part of you, and you have to find its usage, its practical usage in this 3D reality that causes, I was going to say, I heard catalytic, and that's what it may do. So your siren energy, even though it's subdued, others you've got it like recessively. You don't use it in a dominant way, but you can go there, right? And that's only with someone truly trusted. You and Scorpio do have that same desire to know and feel and see that a person is trustworthy enough to for these aspects of you to actually come out. Because to other people it may seem very dark, it may seem very uncharacteristic of you, but it was always a characteristic of you. This is the allure why people are so drawn to Virgo. It is not just the sweet and the nice and the kindness and the generosity and the health and the helping that's on the surface. It is that desire that a lot of people have within them to be enthralled and taken in by siren energy. So you can sense sirens in the midst, even when people can't see and when they can't, they're like, what are you talking about? That person's just X, Y, and Z. They're cool. And you're like, hey, that person ain't who you think they are. And no one else can see it. You can pick up siren energy. You know when a person's disingenuous or when they're using their siren energy to lure people in a way that is harmful, that is only self-serving to them and not actually helping and serving others. So there is that imbalance that you can sense because the intention behind the siren energy that you've been picking up on has been coming to light. This is a part of your heirloom. This is a part of your lineage to sense and pick up on these types of things. The Virgo energy that's what it's there for. To see things that other people can't see. That's why you heal the way that you do. That's why you heal others, influence others healing the way that you do. It is very behind the scenes. And a conversation with you, a person won't even understand that they're being healed. A sexual encounter with you, a person won't even understand that they're being healed. Right? It's administered through your human body. It's administered through mercurial ways, the way that you communicate, the way that you think and give that to another person. They're taking a dose of you in the healing capacity because you've sensed the siren energy and you're giving the elixir through your communication, through your body, through your spirit, through your energy, your encounter with this person, with you talking with this person, being in their vicinity. It could be something so simple as you helping someone find something. And that's a healing experience in and of itself because they feel satisfied and they feel this sense of relief, even if they can't find what they're looking for. You being the one to guide them there or show them or to tell them something is bringing a sense of peace, clarity. Because they could have been told the same message by another person and it wouldn't have hit the same. There's a difference. You have this siren energy So even people afflicted by the siren energy, you can speak to on levels that others cannot, because you're not using the siren energy against them. You're using it to identify what afflictions they've been going through. And that's what you're speaking to on the soulful level. You're not speaking to the person themselves because they're unconsciously aware of what the fuck is actually happening. So, what I'm seeing here, before I get into these tarot cards, what I'm seeing here is a person finally, apocalypsis, seeing an eclipse where somebody's bright, sunny facade is fading and it's being eclipsed out with the darkness. And what they'll see is what you showed them, what you told them was already there. They're going to see it for themselves, what you sensed way back. And now there was a reason why they trusted you to begin with, but they were also attracted to you because you had siren energy. Though you didn't use it on them or, for them, they may have gotten a taste of where it could go. And that was kind of because their affliction, whether it be past perversions and whether it be just things they were exposed to, influences around them, things they inherited from parents or their lineage. If there was any kind of wrongdoings when it came to the sanctity of the human body, if it was defiled in a particular way, the siren energy, you can pick up on it on other people, and you'll be able to identify, and you'll start to be like, damn, were you touched? Or like, not touched like mentally crazy, were you touched? You can start to pick up on certain things because the siren energy is something that allures even predators towards you. This is why a lot of your relationships and your encounters with other people may turn out to be where you're on the ass end of situations. It seems you've administered the healing even if you weren't consciously aware of it. So they have it. They have a taste of that in comparison to the siren energy being used against them, or that they're immersing themselves in any given environment. But they'll never forget what was used in your encounter. It's something drastically different. Though it has that siren undertone to it, it's not predominantly siren-like, if that makes sense. And when I tell you, using these cards take me to other places. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we have both heart chakra crystals, the rough and the tumble. We have solar plexus, and these, in this card, there is some green here. So at the heart of you, you're linked in with the underworld. And this gives me Persephone vibes. You know what I'm saying? Like, she was a bringer of spring, but also in a way like a bringer of death. She was the consort of Hades himself, who rules the underworld. So she had knowledge of both places. If you don't fucking hear me, listen. The forest, again, this heart chakra. So when you go in those places, when you go in those caverns, when you're using that hermit energy and you going off on your fucking own, you're in a forest all your own. Nobody knows this forest like you. They'll get tripped up on their own twigs and branches, and they don't even know how to navigate the land. They don't know themselves to the aspect that, and I'm talking to evolving Virgos or people who have Virgo energy that are using it to go to these heights, but you have to know those depths. They're equal and opposite. So you can't have one without the other. You want to ascend. The descent with this apocalypsis card is going to fucking take you. It's going to make sure that you need to know the ins before you know the outs. As above, so below. As within, so without. The medallion. We have the solar plexus here. So you felt this shit in your gut. Because this is your gift and this is how you exercise it. And you've already put people up on game. You've already told them certain things. You've already divulged this siren energy and revealed it for what it was. The intention that certain people have, you can pinpoint that shit and you can speak on it. Even if they don't have the physical proof, they don't feel like you're lying. They just don't have the proof to know that you're telling the truth. But they value what you're able to do. It's just, it seems like it's coming out of nowhere up until the veil is dropped and the facade is gone. So I want to get a rough stone for this siren card. Clear quartz. When I said you see this shit, you see this shit. Apocalypse. Heart chakra. Like I said, do you see this here? You see behind the veil with your heart space. My crown chakra is like if I had a baby soft spot, that's how it feels like somebody's like digging into it. This siren energy, it has this ruby here. It's a very enticing type of energy. And with this third eye chakra, clear quartz, it is amplifying this energy. And lately I have been very attracted to this wine color. I love Bordeaux. Bordeaux is that fucking color for me. Or rose madder. That was one hell of a Stephen King book, by the way. He's a Virgo. But my crown is being like, you're using this Anima Mundi energy here. You're understanding that, everything is fucking connected. This shit is intense. Okay, that card looks like it's going to be reversed. We have the 9 of Wands. This is the one that isn't colored in. This is not an actualization. I think this is the perception that you had prior to some shit popping off, or in the present moment. It hasn't even transpired yet, but this is something that you've always felt. And it's also someone else not truly trusting what you're saying or what you're feeling. 3 of Cups. It could have to do with other people. It could have to do with friendship groups and things like that. Whew, the sun in reverse. Then I said the fucking apocalypto. Apocalypto, not apocalypso. Yeah. When I say it had a lot to do with in the darkness, it wasn't what you can see visibly with the sunlight, because there can still be hidden things in the shadows. It's when these fucking lights are out. What can you see? Blaringly, glowing, apparently. You see siren with the clear quartz. And you see medallion with the solar plexus. This is visibility now. You can see it. What Virgo has always felt in the pit of their fucking stomach. This is where our fight, flight, fawn, fright, faint response comes from, right? It's your second brain. The solar plexus is so very intellectual, okay? But you also have a very active heart chakra. You know what's behind the veil because you felt it. With the underworld, you've seen it, and it's very raw, real, unabashed, unhidden form. Things have revealed itself to you. Entities even. People's true nature, shapeshifters even. All right? So we got the forest energy. And again, the heart chakra is sitting there because this is the place that naturally you reside. You have to be in these spaces. This is why the dark night of the soul, after the first or second time for you, the third and fourth time aren't so bad. You can damn near pinpoint it like, it's going to happen. And I can feel it coming on. And it'll just so happen you'll have those days back to back off of work. And you can actually handle that transition between what you're seeing like the underworld, and bringing those things back from behind the veil with you, and you'll have that knowing, and you'll have that knowledge, and you'll have made that headway. This sun in reverse, you can see what isn't visible to other people, and it's still not negative. You can just see more people are in their underdeveloped energies and still hollering, I'm a this, I'm a that, I'm a, they'll claim their zodiac signs all day long, but they don't really know what they're made of, or because they're, and not saying that everybody should just go know their natal chart and shit like that. Not a lot of people, well, more people now than ever, but that's not what I'm saying. If you just take a look at your fucking self, even if you're doing the mirror work, you will start to see what is yours, what is not, what is coming from your mother, what came from your father, similarities you can see in siblings, things that travel in families. You can start to identify these things. Is this a behavior I've adapted, that I brought into this life, that I developed on my own, or is this something that I've had, that I've been given? And you'll start to notice, like, even still, Virgo has a different energy signature than other zodiac signs. And even in a room full of people, there can be this sense of isolation, but that it's designed that way so that you can see in the dark, to see the dark, to know the dark. You'll definitely be able to recognize the light. It's that type of thing. The Tower. When I said the shit was, this was something was about to, a realization was about to be had. Something was about to be brought to the forefront. Here we have the Page of Pentacles. Do you see that eyeball? Opportunist is what I hear. Because I was thinking about the third eye crystal sitting on top of this siren energy. Four of Pentacles. Four of Pentacles and this Page of Pentacles. Temperance. Do you see this eye though? Opportunist. An eye for an eye. Blood is bond. They were talking about, when I said quite literally, and I was talking about the birth, talking about a birth. Blood is bond. So if a person does have a child, there's a sense of bondage here with this Four of Pentacles sitting between this Page of Pentacles and this Temperance card. There is blood being spilled. Labor. Page of Pentacles, labor, working. But even this, it has a younger feel to it, like a child. We have Four of Swords. This is someone having to go through. But it's Five Diamonds here. So this is giving me Five of Pentacles type of feel to it. Five of Wands reverse. Not even putting up a fight anymore. But Ten of Wands. See what I'm saying? This shit is heavy. But being forewarned is being forearmed. You gave a person all the ammunition. And by the time they're not even looking at it clearly, though. All they can really focus on are these Five Diamonds, what they have already lost, or what they're losing, or what they are seeming to lose. Their eyes are closed. Oh, I'm getting that song. The city's gonna break my heart. The city's gonna love me and leave me alone. Judgment. God. That's that eclipse energy that I'm feeling. It's like a now or never. Eight of Pentacles. Oh, you've been at this though. You've been on this for a minute. Eight of Cups. Ace of Swords. You've been on this for a minute as far as knowing the truth, speaking the truth, and running with it. Like, okay. Judgment separates you from the rest of the reading. Nine of Wands, Three of Cups, Sun reverse, Tower. It wasn't all it was cracked up to be. You already forewarned somebody about this shit because you felt it and you knew it. You feel the siren energy because the person you're connected to has siren energy. This is what bonded you to, right? But you use it differently. And because you're more reserved with your siren energy, they seek out people who are visibly using the siren energy. Because if you're using yours in a reserved way, or in a way, in that Scorpio-like way, where it has to be a level of trust and a level of truth in order to access this, because you can't just turn it on. It has to, your subconscious and your conscious mind, spirit, and body have to be aligned in order to use the siren energy. So this is why you can't be irresponsible with it. This is why you come off as prudish. Because if you're not able to be who you fully are in your truth, you can't use it. You have the ability to use it. But once you knew different from just using it willy-nilly, once you come into a certain aspect of awareness, your responsibilities to uphold this, the privacy and the be responsible and to carry this energy, it's a very big responsibility, right? You're being very wise about it, and people think you're just a stick in the mud and you're not having sex, and no, that's not. I'm saving your motherfucking ass from being misused and mistreated and malnourished. If I use this siren energy on you and don't intend to grow anything here, I could very much have you hooked, bind you, put you under some kind of spell. And that is not my intention, because that is unhealthy. That's the reason why you haven't gotten this siren energy from a Virgo person for my cross watcher. Since you want to pry, it's fine. It's fine. But I need you to know, you didn't get over on this Virgo energy. They were sparing your ass being responsible. Now, having encountered someone with siren energy, there is Sun reverse. And Sun can still be seen as a positive card. True enough, right? But this leaves a level of darkness. It's overshadowed. It's like the sun is out, but the clouds are covering. There's so much fucking smoke here. Because where there's smoke, there's fire. Who called the siren? You did, Crosswatcher. So you get all the smoke. You have these fucking sticks. You want to rush towards it? Okay, now when you get burned, quite literally, you could be itching. That's your own decision. It could be blood disorders. It could be something that you've contracted. It could also be that this person has used blood in tinctures, in cooking, and quite literally doing spells and have the mind bound. This shit is getting real weird. I usually don't pick up on shit like this. So there was a judgment call. Like I said, this separates the person from Virgo. And Virgo separates you from them. Because the judgment has been made. You said what you said. You informed them what you informed them of. And even with that purity, they were the other octave of the siren energy. And that's what they sought. Things that were exactly like them. Even though your siren energy is internal, they were looking for external types of persona that carried siren energy. But really down below that siren energy was something more gnarly. right? They find out, huh, because their virtue is so far deep buried. If their vice is up top, they're flipped and upside down. Their virtues aren't on top, and their vices underneath, where they can get to know their vices and start to implement them and bring them up for purification. No, no, no. They've been using their virtues as enticement to enhance the vice itself. So the siren energy, that alluring energy, it is littered with some kindness and some sweetness, but it's more bite than bark. It's more in your face than that. And this is a Five of Pentacles type of energy. Page of Pentacles, Four of Pentacles. Now they've got five of Pentacles in their mind, Five of Diamonds in their mind about this situation, and it is overwhelming. And there is no. It's like no one is wanting their spot. There is no competition. There is no vying for their place. No one wants to be in this energy, and things are crumbling with this tower. But you've already seen this because you have the gift with the medallion. You know dark when you feel dark. This is why you stay the fuck away from people, or why certain people are blocked from being the fuck around you. Hence, the Judgment card is here. And you're to keep working, stay focused, right? Because anything that's for you, because you're in your virtue and you've gotten control of your vice, you understand your vice, you understand your power, you understand the siren energy, you understand how to use your higher nature. You're being asked to practice. Keep putting in the work. All you got to do is keep doing. Keep doing what you've been doing, right? You have this energy of strength here. You have 2 8s. You're already familiar with this energy. This is Pisces energy, but there is darkness, but there's still illumination. So even when it seems as if you're leaving a situation, or you're just going on another journey, you're going on another trek, and it's the connection of that siren energy that will keep you connected to another person. They're like, oh, it's the sex, it's the chemistry that keeps you connected. It's this fucking siren energy, because it's a desire for you to bring it out with a trusted person, a trusted ally, an ally to your heart space. You have 3 fucking heart chakra stones on the table. That's all I got is 3. And you got them all. Quite clearly. It takes a deep level of love on a different level. And it's not just romance, man. You can't shove chivalry in a Virgo's face and expect them to just bite it. They can feel when shit is ill-intended or disingenuous. So people call them picky, people call them particular and snobby and stuck up and whatever the fuck else you want to, but they're going to sense the real intention. They know when somebody's just fucking lonely. They know when somebody has perversion and has this siren energy. You know what I'm saying? And looking them up and down their body, there's a disgust because it's perversion that a Virgo energy is going to be able to pick up. They've been exposed to it for so long. The darker aspects of people, the underworld, they've been behind the veil, apocalypses, and they've been able to come back with a medallion. They've earned their stripes. This is why they sit the fucking way they do. So if you're not pure of heart and pure intent, they're not going to allow it, because they won't be able to fully integrate all the parts of themselves. They will be reserved, even in sex, if they can't fully trust with their heart space and their body. Because even their reproductive organs, even though that's ruled by Scorpio, in that same virility of truth, if they can feel that connection, their fucking endocrine system down there, their reproductive organs will start to respond on their own in just placid conversation. They will get an excitement and a height off of the pure energy of another being. So if they're not feeling that, there's no response. There is a reservation. Because you don't make the cut. You're not spiritually passing the test. And that is behind the veil, the real truth of a person. It's an unmasking of them in energy form that a Virgo is going to be able to sense and pick up. It's not appearances and what can be visibly seen to the naked eye. You know what I mean? So when people don't use their discernment, shit like this happen. And you've done your work. Now go on your way. It is catalytic. It is a catalyst to start to, make it known and make it very real. Like, hey, there's a problem here. You just don't know what you're about to step into. Are you sure you want to do that? And it's like, oh, you're so judgmental. Anything I do, you always have to criticize. All right, then I won't. You got it. But someone who loves you will tell you. There are times when you have to withhold in order to not intervene on somebody else's lesson. And that can happen too. But I feel that this person was forewarned. And they rather not trust you and go ahead and trust friends and other people who don't have the sight, who don't have this type of gift. So what you're telling them, because they can't see it and they can't touch it and they can't prove it, you can't trust them fully because they don't even trust themselves fully. They may even feel that something's off and they still go through because they have to learn the lesson the hard way. And two, Virgo has learned the lesson the hard way with dealing with this same exact situation. Not with this, the blood and all that. But what I'm saying is not trusting their own intuition, going ahead with connections, shit not coming up roses, and actually being very, very fucking cloudy, very confusing. Towers, burden, having to be left with this mind state. It's not you with the mind state anymore. You have the Ace of Swords now. You have knocked your fucking head against a rock a couple of times, too many. You know the difference. And all you were trying to do was teach. You were being taught through being the teacher. And people were getting that shit confused. You were headmistress. The teacher. They thought mistress was the other woman. They got it fucked up, right? And this is why you're able to keep working, keep being clear, and walk the fuck away with no remorse. Because you did things with a certain level of intent. Knowing what you know, seeing what you see, extracting the lesson from the hindsight and being able to have foresight with it. It's the lemniscate. It's, it's that 8 energy, but it's infinite. Cycles do repeat unless you change something. So you're not even being asked to change anything because you've made the necessary changes. You've tweaked it. You've actually refined your vision by being acclimated to the dark. And we spoke on that before with Virgo. Just keep working on it. Just keep doing it. You're learning so much more about yourself that is making you do what you do so much. It's enhancing. It's making it so more heartfelt and so much more you're taking them on a trip. This green here in the forest, it has a lot to do with this heart space. And you do integrate certain things from what you've learned about yourself. And you're able to actually, you have a formula. You can, it's levels to this shit. And you're finding that out. You've been where these people have been. You've been in experiences like that to know. King of Swords, 3 of Cups. In this regard, is what you saw with your higher mind. You knew the truth. Ace of Swords. And this is what you were forewarning. So when you come off as guarded, it's because you can sense this siren energy being attached to somebody you may be attached to. Right? They're thinking it's this 3 of Cups and it's cool. And that's the falsity. This is sitting right underneath the siren card. They could have been born of a siren. You see what I'm saying? It can travel through the mother. And then they're attracted to women like their mother. Could have been the father, etc. ETC. You saw this shit. It was like real hedonistic, and it could be like a sense of freedom and everybody chilling, but I'm getting not so good vibes with that. Knowing what this kind of energy can do, um, it's a lower octave of feminine energy, and it's from a higher octave of feminine energy that you're assessing this from virtue, like the virgin aspect. I'm getting Mary Magdalene and everything, like, and they consider her to be the worst, but she was side by side with someone that they thought was just, oh my God, the best. Why? Because it was a purity of heart. The Mary archetypes all go together, like Mary Magdalene, Mother Mary, Sophia, Yemaya. Like there's Guadalupe. There's all these archetypes that they're very fucking similar as far as water energy goes, mother energy goes, purity goes. Even if their initial actions or actions that they've had in the past were not seen in the best light, it was a virtuous turn of events that put them in different positions. To see this, right? You know what that is, and you can warn others of what that is, and it does look like it's coming off critical because it's so terse and it's so to the point. But when you're warning somebody, you don't, oh, I kind of think that well, sort of, it's, hey man, that shit ain't real, that shit ain't cool, that shit ain't right, it's a trap. Listen, and it's not a fear mongering, it's like, damn, I see it before it unfolds, and I'm trying to show you. But despite that, you get the Queen of Pentacles and the Ten of Cups. Keep working. Keep doing your thing. This is a purity. That Forest card is reflected in these rainbows too, and she's got love tattooed on her fingers. But somebody else that has been in the forest, that has been in the trenches, that has learned themselves through and through, that's where, this shit is hollow, and it'll come to the point where you and another person actually do see eye to eye. But you won't be paying attention to them. You're going to be paying attention to your pentacle and everything that you really have created. It's a moment of being proud of yourself, despite what people have said about you, despite the experiences you've had, and being counted out as, seen as some kind of underdog or something. You really do bring this kind of energy to the table. 3 of Pentacles versus what they experienced with this 4 of Pentacles, 5 of Pentacles, 5 of Wands. This 3 of Cups energy was not what it was cracked up to be, and they're understanding that fully. And they're kind of mad at you for it. But oh well. You said what you said, and they got the message. They ain't heard it in a whisper, they heard it in a shout. So the moment you stop talking and not divulging anymore, it's like, okay. Now you just gotta wait and see. And it's not a stagnation in the waiting. It's still being productive, but knowing that message is coming, that somebody learned their fucking lesson the hard way. And that's tough. Their intuition was off, way off. Because they're in their higher siren energy. They were using their siren energy outwardly. They weren't actually sensing it like consciously. They just were attracted to it time and time again. Those kind of women who use it in that way. And men use siren energy too. So it's not gender exclusive, but that's what I'm saying. There's a different and male Virgos are different than female Virgos because it's a yin energy. So in my mind, I'm getting like switching genders for a day. And I'm not talking about transgender stuff. I'm saying like if there's like a question, like if you were a woman for a day, what would you do? Or if you were a man for a day, what would you do? those types of things. It's like when a man is using feminine energy in its very low form, you're gonna get a lot of siren, a lot of promiscuity. You're gonna get some temptress and manipulation. Um, they're not even using their masculine energy to do it. They're using the underdeveloped feminine energy to do it. So you're really attracting feminine siren energy if you've built up your energy to a certain place and gotten it to a certain level of development. People could still be being attracted to you because they have something to learn from you, unbeknownst to them. But you need to know if something is a lesson for you to teach someone, or if it's your 10 of cups. You can't leave it up to them. It's not for them to tell you. You have to know yourself and understand your bodily cues and the messages that you're getting internally. You can trust it. You know the difference. Don't sway from that knowing, because you have that gift, this medallion, this heirloom, this talisman. It's like you have a lucky charm, and people are drawn to you because of it. It makes you a target as well. So you're going to attract a lot of motherfuckers who ain't right in the head. Because, doctors and stuff like that, they are more so Virgo energy than those who are sick, which would be Piscean energy. But since you're on the axis, you're going to be exposed to both. I'm just being real. All right, man. That shit was more than I. No wonder y'all sat down yesterday and didn't want me to read on this. I'm going to move on to the next sign, and I'll see y'all later.